as you said, you've been doing this for over 15 years, and it's only been in the last year that you've brought in more of the music to it. You said, 6 years in, you started to bring in some music, but
Yeah.
now over the last year is really when you've gained in popularity. What would you
Yeah.
say to someone that is trying to, I don't know, kind of DIY, grassroot it like you did through social media? Because it seems like that's been the growing, as you said, millions and millions of followers on TikTok, hundreds of thousands, 400,000 or whatever it is on Instagram. How did you do it yourself and build this up? Or did you have a team just kind of build up your social media that you're hoping and has happened, bring you over to your comedy, more the live setting and the YouTube stuff?
Yeah, well, the advice I'd give to somebody trying to do it now with the do-it-yourself kind of energy is be willing to experiment and pivot with the type of stuff you put out, because you kind of really never know what's going to hit on these apps. And the other thing is, it is kind of like a full-time. It's kind of like a full-time job. It's like a whole other. Now it's not enough to just be an artist. You kind of have to be a marketing major. I didn't go into this wanting to do that, but I kind of had no choice but to figure this stuff out, right? Everything else was nothing else. I told myself if at 10 years I couldn't make money doing this, I was going to try something else. So 10 years. So I've been making a good living since, what, 2017? 2017.
Okay.
But you got to be willing to pivot and start. So I started posting online. I had a backlog of clips and content, subtitling everything myself, doing everything myself. Now it's a lot easier because AI can do the subtitling.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that could be automated now, which is amazing. I do have an assistant who does edit for me, and he formats the clips and gets them ready for social media. Obviously he uses some automated tools for like subtitling and stuff, but there are certain things of like flair that you kind of want to make, like the type of font you use, the type of like little images or memes you might put into the clip. The last piece of advice I'll give to anybody posting on social media is that the blueprint is out there, and by that I mean, if you don't know what to post, see what creators and influencers and comedians you like, see what they're posting, see the quality of the post, and just try to emulate that. And it's like any other art form. It's like music. You're gonna emulate the musicians that you like until your style kind of emerges through. Just like with comedy, if you're a fan of Nate Bargatze, you're gonna write jokes like Nate Bargatze starting out until your vibe kind of comes through. Um, the blueprint is out there. It's just kind of crazy how many people uh, they want to post, they don't know what to post, but then when they do everything wrong. And it's like if you saw somebody else's clip and you saw how it went viral, it sounded good, it looked good, there was a hook at the very beginning. There are all these little like technical aspects. It's just like comedy, you know. There's like a bunch of technical things you could do to make you not look like a beginner, right? Like walk on stage, find your light, move the mic stand out of the way, talk into the microphone. Like, and we see it all the time. There's people who don't do that. And you're like, these are just like really basic things that you can do to make it good, you know? So that's what I'd say as far as advice. Be willing to pivot, and be willing to experiment, and then just know that everything you need to know about doing whatever craft you're in is already out there. It's already out there to learn from, you know. So
That is a good. I mean, that's
that's
great
great.
advice because it is. That's. I mean, that's true for anything. I know we're talking specifically kind of about social media marketing, right? But I mean, it's true about everything. Like the information, it's such a great time. I mean, I know the information gets abused sometimes, and there's not a lot of,
Yeah.
it can bring up arguments that are not grounded in fact because there's a lot of bad information out there too. But when we're talking about specifically trying to get something done, a project that you have in your mind or something like that, you're absolutely right. I mean, you can go to the YouTubes, you can go to the social media worlds, you can just go to Google, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Now that it's all
I,
out there, I mean, it's at everyone's fingertips to figure it out. And I loved what you just said there, Morgan, about looking to your heroes and who you like, right? And
yeah.
it's absolutely the case in music. I'm just now getting into other things. I've had a long career in music, and now it's starting to get into other things, and Yeah, it does seem to be the case in everywhere too. You know, you wear your influences on your sleeves for a
100%.
while until, and then you start, and I mean, you still have you in there the whole time, but you start to really hone in. What are the parts of this eclectic taste that I have that really creates me, right?
Yeah, and also look, just look at our setups. Like we're doing this virtually, but we both have the type. Like we both invested in this also, right? Like
Right. A little bit of time and effort,
little
and a
time and
little bit,
effort.
yeah.
I mean, when I started getting during the pandemic, when I was pivoting to corporate Zoom events, when all my comedy peers were saying no to this shit, I was like, no, look, none of us want to do this. None of us want to be in Zoom. Let me figure out how to do this. Let me research, what the best cameras are, the best audio equipment. How can I make this the best quality it can be on this platform,
Right.
And you could and even still we're still using some of it from time to time, but you just got to be willing to make those changes and see where it goes. I mean, 2021, I think I made like 50 grand doing corporate Zoom comedy. Corporate,
Wow.
you know what I mean? Like, because nobody else would say yes to that stuff.